What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the all-new 2023 Nissan Altima. Big shout out and thank you to Flo Nissan of Statesville for providing this new sedan for today's video. Check out the link to their website linked below. And the model that we're looking at today is a 2.5 SR front-wheel drive, finished off in gray sky pearl, has the SR premium package and an MSRP at $32,800. Underneath the hood of this 2023 Nissan Altima, you're going to find a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine. It pumps out 188 horsepower with 180 pound-feet of torque and sends the power through a CVT transmission to the front wheels. Curb weight is around 3,300 pounds and it has a 16.2 gallon fuel tank, and it can achieve 27 miles per gallon in the city with 37 out on the highway. Overall length is 192.9 inches with wheelbase at 112.2. Width is 72.9 and height is 56.8 inches. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with the 2023 Altima. It has a nice update from the previous years and it really does look super sporty. We get an LED headlight with a very cool DRL. If I lock it, you can see the white color and of course that amber color as well. Has a pretty cool dark housing with a projector beam, and then a chrome trim piece running underneath the headlight all the way down towards the front end. You can see a really sharp body line along with a gloss black trim piece, and I love just how large this new grille is. We get the new Nissan logo right in the center along with the SR badge and all gloss black within the grille. Got a gloss black chin spoiler as well, and I just love how everything comes together. Very sporty looking car, especially in this color. And I like how above the grille, you can see how the bumper has sharp lines that fade their way into the hood to really give it an aggressive appearance. If we go ahead and take a look at the side profile, we get a set of 19-inch wheels with the SR badge. They're a split 5-spoke with a two-tone color, and there's a sharp line all around the fender. You can see how the bodywork goes from the hood all the way into a sharp body line cutting its way through the side profile. And then there's a secondary body line underneath. We get body color door handles and then gloss black for the mirror caps. Then there's also gloss black all above the windows for the B pillar and then even the C pillar. It kind of divides the roof to make it appear floating, and we get a cool chrome trim piece underneath that. This one also has a sunroof along with that shark fin antenna. And then the actual side profile is very proportional. This is a pretty typical mid-size sedan, offering a really good layout and a pretty nice balance for the style. Moving to the rear end, you can see that sharp body line cutting its way into the taillight, and it gives it a pretty wide appearance. I like how the LED taillights are sunken into the bodywork, finished off in red. We get the SR badge along with the Nissan logo, and then Altima is on the left side. You can see a chrome trim piece underneath the trunk lid, and you get some nice sharp body lines. Underneath that, we have all of your parking sensors, and then more gloss black trim for this diffuser. Has a pretty cool layout. And I think the rear end of this new Altima really comes together very well. So there's a good look at the new 2023 Nissan Altima. This color really comes together in person. It's kind of one of those off-white grays. I love just the way it looks. So we have Nissan's key fob. You do get the new Nissan logo on it. We do even get remote start. If I go ahead and just lock the car though, all I have to do is grab the door handle and press the button. It'll unlock and we can check out its interior. The premium package gives this particular spec the leather-appointed sport seats that have a really nice design. You can take a look at the door panel now. You can see the black vinyl leather material with a really cool two-tone stitching design. There's some padding for the armrest as well as a grab handle, window controls, lock and unlock, and then your mirror controls. Then we get a silver release handle with a pretty cool trim piece. There's also storage on the lower side. Then these are power-operated seats. You can see all your controls as well as your lumbar support. And I love the two-tone stitching, actually three-tone if you include a nice black stitch. You get the smooth leather in the bottoms with a really cool perforated design leading their way all the way up the backrests, and you even get a really cool stitching in these back bolsters. Very sporty looking seats, I love the way they've done that. And then we get a flat bottom steering wheel with some silver trim and this orange stitching. And then now inside the 2023 Nissan Altima, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. You get the massive screen in the center that'll turn on, and you even get a small screen right in the center of the gauges. And you see an analog tach on the left with engine temperature, then your fuel and speedometer to the right side. You can control the center screen using the pad on the left side of the steering wheel, and if we go ahead and take a look at this, I can scroll up and down in a few of the different menus. You can see your speed information, a blank screen, and then back up to the compass. Continuing over, we have all sorts of different settings. You can see all sorts of different things that you can adjust within this car. Then continuing over, we have safety information, audio, navigation, more information for trip, and then some fuel economy information. If we take a look at the steering wheel now, we have more controls on the left side for your volume and track, and then we get a few Bluetooth and then cruise control settings. Even though this is a CVT, we do get steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. It's a pretty cool design the way they've made these. They look pretty nice as well. Then we have our turn signal stock on the left with headlights, and then windshield wipers over on the right side. On the left of the actual steering wheel, we have the interior dimming, trip reset, and then your trunk button. Then you can see one of the air vents. You get the two-tone stitching along the gauge cluster. Then you can see some black along the dash with a really cool carbon fiber look design, as well as some silver trim underneath that. And then if we take a look at this massive screen now, our home menu right now, you can see 3 different things set up for audio, your phone, as well as a map. If I scroll over, we have all sorts of information for your Bluetooth, your apps, weather, even more than that, and then a blank screen to add more. The home screen gets us back here. Tap in the navigation icon, we get such a big screen. You can see how everything is laid out. Very snappy as well, with all sorts of different settings. A back button, you can use Google and search and everything. And then tap in the audio icon, you can get all of that. We have Sirius XM, Bluetooth, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay will all pop up. More connectivity information, and then tap in this cube logo. It'll pop up with all sorts of different apps. You can swipe over and see a few more different things. So I definitely love this new screen setup. It's so cool looking. If we go ahead and put the car into reverse, the backup camera pops up on the left. You get pretty good HD graphics on it. Nothing too crazy fancy. Settings logo is on the right side. If I go ahead and just put it back into park, it'll go back to the main screen. We get a few buttons down below. We have a shortcut to the camera. You can see the different settings and everything that will pop up. We also have your track, volume, and then a night mode. We have hazards and air vents right in the center, and then physical climate controls are all in the center. You have your fan speed on the left, and then your different zones, and then temperature over on the right side, and then your 2 heated seat buttons. There's storage down below with wireless phone charging, as well as USB ports and a 12 volt. Then you can see more of that contrast stitching, which looks really cool on the side. Leather shift boot for the shifter, storage, as well as some cup holders, and then even more stitching all throughout this armrest. I love that touch. Then we have a pretty good sized glove box in the center, and then on the right side, a pretty large bucket as well. One last look at the interior. I think that screen really does make this look pretty nice inside, and it has a really sporty vibe for being a pretty affordable car. We have our sunroof up top, and then all of your controls for that, dome lights, a sunglass holder, and then your mirror. And then to move on to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, the door panel's finished off just like we saw up front. You get that same dual stitching. And then the back seats have all the same materials with the contrast stitching, that cool perforated design with the orange color inside of it. This is a 3-person bench, and then you can even take the center, pull this down, and we get a nice armrest with 2 cup holders. The only amenities you get are storage on the passenger side and then 2 USBs. So then now sitting in the back seat of the new Nissan Altima, I'm 5'11". I have about an inch or so of headroom, and even with the driver's seat set at my height, I have pretty good knee room as well as foot room. The seats don't recline, and we do get fixed headrests. However, it's actually a pretty comfortable, roomy car for being just a midsize. Good armrest on the left, same with of course on the right, and then you get a lot of glass back here to really make it feel open. We do have dome lights on the top, and then you even get grab handles up above. And then moving on to the trunk, we have a button on the key fob, the one on the interior, or there is one underneath the Nissan badge. You can press that and lift this open. The Altima is going to give you a ton of storage space in this trunk. You can see just how large and roomy it is. Very massive. Definitely a very practical car. We even have hooks that will come down from the top, and then tabs you can pull, and they'll unlock the rear seats. And then with them folded down, you can see just how much more storage space you're going to get in the back of the Altima. They fold nearly flat and still give you a ton of space all up in front. And then the opening into the trunk is pretty large as well to make this a very useful sedan. All right, so we are setting off now in the new Altima. We'll test out these paddle shifters. Being a CVT, it's pretty cool. You can literally drive it like it has normal gears in the transmission. And even just keeping it into drive, it does drive like it has a transmission with gears. So it's pretty cool how they've done their CVT. Normal driving now, going almost 50 miles an hour. It's pretty comfortable and smooth. Don't really hear too much road noise and wind noise. It's a decently insulated vehicle. Really good visibility, as you can see, with a huge windshield, good mirrors and everything. And then looking over your left and right shoulder, pretty much no blind spots There is so much glass in here. Of course, I like having the sunroof option. That screen looks really good sitting up here, and it doesn't get in the way of your visibility at all. So that's a good touch the way they've mounted that. But this seems like a pretty good normal car to drive. And then as we get back onto the normal road and give it some gas, the engine is decent. It's not crazy fast or anything. Of course, the turbo model has a lot more power, but it'll get up to speed. I mean, you'll get to 50, 60 miles an hour with no issue. So at least normal driving, day-to-day stuff, you're gonna be able to do that fine and get really good gas mileage. It's insane how efficient this car really is. When you come down to a slower speed, the brakes do a good job. Seems like a pretty nicely balanced car, really comfortable. The suspension absorb bumps well, and these seats, the padding in them, I really like. I really like just how comfortable it feels without obviously being an expensive car. The turn signal is pretty annoying. It's very loud, kind of high-pitched noise. That's my one downfall. But as far as normal driving and everything, it just feels like a pretty good, comfortable, normal car. All right, guys, so flipping around to my perspective, what it's like to drive, my honest thoughts of the 2023 Nissan Altima. I think if you're looking for just a good, well-rounded, affordable car, this is something to consider. $32,000 is pretty darn cheap, especially in today's market, significantly less than the average price of a new car. And when you're driving in this, it feels pretty decently refined and comfortable. The seats really do have a lot of padding, nice to be in, good amount of adjustments and everything. I mean, you can drive this long haul, get great gas mileage, and just drive this, rack up some miles on it. Normal stuff in it. I love the massive screen. I think it looks really cool. I like this tablet style. I'm a big fan of that layout. But huge screen, so much information on it, and it's really easy to use. So I feel like Nissan's giving you just enough technology to make this feel like a new modern car without breaking the bank. You can get, obviously, the more powerful engine, the 2-liter turbo. You can get all-wheel drive paired to this engine. So it's pretty cool how you can get all sorts of different features, technology upgrades, power plant upgrades, things like that, leather seats, the vinyl seats, things like that. So it really seems like Nissan gives you quite a lot with the trim levels and the tech to give you something for a good price point that's not going to break the bank. And when you're driving it, and like I said, it's pretty comfortable and normal to drive. The acceleration's decent. It's no 500 horsepower sports car or anything like that. But I think the CVT transmission is actually pretty good. Given it gas, it will shift, which is crazy to drive a CVT where it shifts as if it has gears in it. Nissan did a great job making it feel like a normal car, and it doesn't just feel like it's winding out going crazy. The turn signal noise, though, that is my one complaint. It's just a little high-pitched and annoying sounding. But other than that, as far as normal things in it, I mean, you get a pretty well-balanced car. It's pretty refined where you don't really feel bumps or hear wind noise or road noise or anything like that. I mean, it's just a car you can drive. This segment is pretty darn competitive. I think every single automaker pretty much makes a sedan that's a mid-size sedan. So it's a very generic category. However, I think with the 2023 refresh, I think the front end gives it a sporty, fun look to where it looks a little bit more bold and aggressive than some competition. So I like the way Nissan has styled it, and the interior is pretty nice. It doesn't really look crazy, modern. It doesn't compete with a BMW or a Mercedes or anything, of course, of that level, but it feels normal. It feels like a pretty decent, nice, normal car, and it's not really going above and beyond crazy with technology and just screens, leather, wood grain, and all sorts of fancy things, but it just kind of gives you just a good basic car. And in today's world, when everything is becoming just so fancy and expensive, it's nice that Nissan really does give you good bang for the buck, affordable cars that are dependable and just really useful. But I think that is then it for the 2023 Nissan Altima.
Navigate to. The name was not recognized. Please.
All right, it has voice recognition. I'm not sure how to use all that.
Navigate to.
Which we will hopefully turn off. But anyways, I think that is now it, if it's going to navigate me somewhere. But you have a lot of tech, like I mentioned. But anyways, big shout out and thank you to Flo Nissan of Statesville for providing this car for today's video. They have a huge selection of some 2023 Nissans lined up, ready to go. So check out their link down below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.